hear that? Well, that, my friends, are the ball joints. What I thought was initially the wheels were rubbing on the fenders, and after much cutting and spacing and wheel arch bending and everything else, I actually found the problem. And it wasn't the clearance of the wheels at all. What it was is the ball joint is separating from the lower control arm and it's hitting the front discs, the front brake discs. Now, that's a bad thing. So, before this thing kills me, I'm going to swap them out. And in this video, I'm going to show you how. Let's go. You see, the way these Falcons have been designed is the front ball joints, especially the lower ones, take a lot of strain. So I'll show you that quickly when I take these front wheels off. But essentially what can happen is the ball joint can separate from the mounting point on the control arm, which pretty much means that this wheel goes upwards into your front fender, which of course means that you lose all steering. And if you're lucky, you're going very, very slowly. But if you're unlucky, you're on a freeway, and then you're in big trouble. I hope you said goodbye, hug your family before you left this morning. So to help me sleep at night before I drive this car again, I'm going to swap these out. Am I disgusted? Am I dismayed? Am I absolutely horrified by the fact that these ball joints are failing? No. This is a 2007 car, it's now 2023, so they lasted this long, and that's pretty good. So if the OEM ones lasted this long, what am I going to do? I'm going to get them swapped with some OEM ones, because lasting 15, 16 years is good enough in my book.
The tools you're going to need are a jack and a jack stand, a ratchet or a ratchet gun, a shifting spanner, a 18 and a 15 millimeter spanner, a 15, an 18 and a 22 millimeter socket. You're going to need a hook, you're going to need a torque wrench, some penetrant fluid, a large 3/4 inch socket. A 32 millimeter seems to have done the job for me, but I think you can go up to 36 millimeters. A ball joint press is going to be important for this job. I'll leave a link in the description below on where you can pick one of these up. You're going to need a pry bar, a hammer, and protect your hands, so get yourself some safety gloves. Link in the description below.
Let's get to it, and of course the first step as always, jack up your car. As you can see, I've trimmed things and I've marked things off to see where things are rubbing, including this upper ball joint mount. And as you can see, despite the absolute ginormous size of my wheels, the white paint hasn't worn off, so it's nothing like that. I've got no marks, scuff marks anywhere. I had a little bit here and I cut that out, but really that wasn't the problem. The problem was this. This here is your lower ball joint, and as you can see, it's pressed in upwards into your lower control arm. Now the problem with this design is, as the suspension travels up and down, basically this caliper assembly over here, this whole thing is trying to separate away, basically upwards. There's a lot of force on this thing upwards like this. So this is constantly happening. And what it does is it elongates this ball joint. Basically the ball joint inside this rubber boot here is separating away from itself. So what's causing the noise? Well, this is causing the noise. Can you see that? And can you see that? So what's happening there is, as you turn the wheel, look at the clearance here. It's very, very minimal. And as you turn the wheel, this clearance reduces by a lot, and it's actually touching and machining away both that surface and the inside of your disc brakes. So eventually what will happen is this will shear off completely, sending all of this upwards into your guards. So if you hear this noise, don't ignore it unless you like playing Russian roulette. First things first, we're going to need to remove this brake caliper. We've got 2 bolts in the back here, so that's one there, and the other one is up in there. So to get to that one, you're going to need to just twist and remove the brake line. You're going to need a 15mm for these. Slide calipers off. Ooh, pads are pretty low. I see a brake job in my future. Anyway, just hang these up and out of the way. Brake disc comes off. Next, get an 18mm socket onto your tie rod end. Give it a couple of smacks if it's tight. Alright, now that that's out, it's time to take the top ball joint out. An 18mm spanner will go nicely around the square bolt over here, and an 18mm socket will fit around the nut. So that comes out pretty well. Check your top ball joint. Mine is still okay, so no need to change this top one. Bushings are good. Ball joints okay. It's not perfect, but it's still alright. Alright, the only thing left to do now, undo this. And boy, that doesn't feel good at all. Alright, it's a 22mm. Now have a look at this. There she goes. Next, we got to get this boot off. So just undo the clip that goes around this thing, just like that. So this boot should now come off. And sure enough, check it out. I've got a hole in this boot over here. Looks like it was pinched at some point. Yeah, this is what we've got going on. Okay, for the next phase, you're going to need one of these ball joint puller kits. Once you've got this, you're going to need this clamp. You're going to need these spaceship looking thingies. There are 2 of these things, one with a big hole and one with a little one. Little hole, big hole. Put the one with the big hole on the top. Get your clamp ready with this thing wound in a little bit. So that sits on the bottom like that. So what's happening here is you're going to be pressing down, and as the ball joint comes down, it will be captured into this cup over here. And this is the bit that holds the cup in place like that. So all you've got to do is rest that on there like that and wind it up. There we go. So you're going to need a 22mm spanner. I don't have one, but I've got this shifter, so I'm going to use that. And what you're going to find is as you wind this, this will push down and push the ball joint out. There you go, so you can see what's going on here. Basically, this is getting pushed downward. Okay, so at this point, I've run out of room on this thing, but that's all right, because you can just swap it for a large socket. So this is a 3/4 inch, 32mm. I think you could use anything up to about a 36mm before you run out of room. But yeah, same kind of deal, just put this on. And that's it, continue winding. So you're winding in. Now at some point, this thing's just gonna go purr and let go. Right about now. So there it is, one crappy used ball joint. There's no saving this anymore.
So let's grab the new ball joint, and really installation is kind of the reverse. So the first thing I'm going to do is give this a little bit of a clean. There we go, that's looking pretty good. So now this just needs to go in from underneath, pretty much the reversal of before. And I'm going to use a few different things to put them on, but the concept is the same. So I'm going to grab another cup, the shallow one, which sits in there quite nicely. So just goes in there like that. And this time we'll be pushing upwards. So that will sit like that. And this time you're going to use the large ring on the top. And that goes on there like so. The same kind of deal, just line it all up. Now just watch it, make sure it goes in straight. If need be, adjust a few things, loosen it up. So really what you're looking for is this gap to be gone. You want that gap to disappear. There we go, that's better. So you want this to be pretty tight, and that's pretty good. Let's check your seating, everything looks all right here. All right, time to put it back together. Arm goes back on, top ball joint as well. We can rotate this around. The bottom ball joint nut needs to be 90 Newton meters. Gonna have to do that from this side. There we go, that's nice and tight. The top one is also 90 Newton meters. The tie rod is 50 Newton meters, 50. This is a good time to check your wheel bearings, and mine's okay, no noises. All right, time to put the calipers back on. Bolts go in. And these two caliper mounting bolts have to be 115 Newton meters. Okay, at this point, everything's back on, and I'm feeling confident. Do I have a right to be? Let's find out. All right, moment of truth. Let's see, reverse, full lock, let's head back. Hey, I think I've done it. No grinding noises. Come on, let's take a quick look. So, how do things look under here? Let's have a squeeze. Look at that. Yeah, that's better. Look at that. I've got a gap again between the disc brake and the ball joint. Awesome. So, that's how you do it. So there it is, legends. That's how you install lower ball joints on a BA to BF Falcon. I've got a feeling the AUs and the FGs maybe could be also very similar. I don't know, I don't have one of those. But this was a step-by-step guide on how to do that. But you're not done. Oh no, you've got to do the other side. Yes, while you weren't looking, I did that too. You got to make sure you do both, because chances are if one's worn, the other one's not far behind. But in any case, we're coming up to a roundabout.
The ultimate test of whether this thing's going to scrape. Let's do a Yui. No noises. 0 noises, so I call that a success. So there you go, guys. I hope you like the step-by-step guide on how to do this, and if you did, give me a like, and also subscribe if you want to see more content on this BABF Falcon Ute. But all in all, a fairly simple job. Just make sure you have that ball joint press remover thingy, a few hand tools as I showed you, and you're pretty much good to go. In any case, thanks for sticking around this long. I really appreciate it. Hit that sub button, it really helps me out. And if you're looking for some tools for your garage, check out the links down below. It really helps support this channel. But all in all, a fairly simple process. I'm pretty much done here today. So yeah, enough chit chat from me. I'll catch you next time. Bye.